Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Nectar of Devotion. We're reading the chapter 4. This statement is confirmed by Lord Shiva in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we had been reading in this chapter, Prabhupada is giving us so many instances from Bhagavatam that how the pure devotees are only praying for pure devotional service. That's what they want. Because pure devotional service, as Krishna says, begins from the Brahmabhuta platform, begins from liberation. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmabhuta Prasanatma. So the pure devotee is already liberated. So he's saying liberation, and then what do I do now? I want to engage in pure devotional service. So for a devotee, real life begins after liberation. It's not that liberation is the end for the devotee. No, it's the beginning of the real life, the spiritual life, the life of the soul. That's why I'm saying real life, because our reality is that we are souls. So the soul, the real life of the soul begins after liberation. This statement is confirmed by Lord Shiva in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th Canto, 17th chapter, verse 28, wherein Lord Shiva addresses Sati thus. So, the conversation between Lord Shiva and his wife Sati in 6th Canto. My dear Sati, persons who are devoted to Narayan Krishna are not afraid of anything. If they are elevated to the higher planetary systems, or if they get liberation from material contamination, or if they are pushed down to the hellish condition of life, or in fact, in any situation, whatever, they are not afraid of anything. Why? Why the devotees are not afraid of anything? Simply because they have taken shelter of the lotus feet of Narayan. For them, any position in the material world is as good as another. So this is what Lord Shiva is telling to Sati, that the pure devotee is completely taken shelter of Krishna. So his consciousness is fixed on Krishna. So he is not afraid wherever to go. He can go to hell, he can go to heaven, he can go uh, anywhere. If they're put in, they're not afraid. The more we surrender to Krishna, the more fearless we become. The more we go away from Krishna, the more fearful we become. Like when a child is completely fearless. He knows my mother is there. I just have to call out to my mother. But when the mother is not there, then the child becomes fearful, because who can he call out to? So similarly for us also, the more we take shelter of Krishna, the more we will become fearless. What we do is we may say, why shall I take shelter of Krishna? I can do it by myself. I do by myself. As children are growing up, I will do by myself. Then another person will say, but I can't remain a child anymore. I have to grow up. But the point is that we are souls and we have an eternal relationship with Krishna. We, we are, in fact, we should revive this relationship instead of going away from that relationship. It's a relationship which none of us can deny. We may deny it for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, but that is our eternal relationship. There is a similar statement by Indra, the king of heaven, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 18th chapter, verse 74. The Indra addresses Mother Diti in this manner. My dear mother, persons who have given up all kinds of desire and are simply engaged in devotional service to the Lord know what is actually their self-interest. Such persons are actually serving their self-interest and are considered first-class experts in the matter of advancing to the perfectional stage of life. So Indra is speaking to his mother Diti. Diti is the mother of the demigods. Diti and Kashyap. They are the parents of the demigods. So Indra is speaking to Diti and saying, They're the pure devotees. They don't have any desire, no desire for material sense gratification, no desire to get mystic perfection, no desire for liberation. What are they doing? They are simply engaging in pure devotional service. Why? They actually know their self-interest. Why? Because that is the real position of the soul. Because of that, such persons are actually serving their self-interest and are considered first-class experts in matter of advancing to the perfectional stage of life because they have taken up devotional service. Then gradually, what will happen? They will be situated in their original spiritual position. Each of us has this original spiritual position. And the only way we can be situated in that position is when we engage in devotional service. So why is Indra saying that one who has given up all desire and is engaging in devotional service actually know what's their self-interest? Why is he saying that?
Because he knows that they just want the pure devotional service. The one who has taken the devotional service and they don't desire anything because they just desire they just trust Krishna because they're surrendered at Krishna's lotus feet. So they just want Krishna, nothing else. It doesn't matter to them. Is it because of that?
Yeah. And then what is their self-interest?
Self interest
Yeah, serve
is that
Krishna, please Krishna,
serve
and
Krishna's lotus feet and serve him with favorable. Is it? No.
mm, yeah, and they are considered first-class experts in matter of advancing to the perfectional stage of life because then they actually understand I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul, I'm part and parcel of Krishna. And when I'm engaging in devotional service, I can be situated in my original spiritual form. That is our real self interest. To again come back to our spiritual form, to revive. Yes.
Okay.
In the seventh canto of the Bhagavatam, sixth chapter, verse 25, Maharaj Prahlad says, my dear friends, born into atheistic families, if you can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, then there is nothing more rare in this world. If somehow or the other we can please Krishna, then there is nothing more rare in this world. In other words, if the Supreme Lord Krishna is pleased with you, then any desire you may have within the core of your heart can be fulfilled without any doubt. Like for example, if we uh, know somebody who has great influence, great power, and we are great friends with them, and we know that if we ask them for something, they will help us with it. Then our desire can be fulfilled, right? What we want, we will get that. Oh, here is a powerful person, and I'm able to please him, and then he can give me something, what I need. So, what to speak about Krishna? He's the most powerful. He's the most powerful. He can give anyone anything. So, and that's why Prabhupada is saying, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, any desire you have can be fulfilled without any doubt, because Krishna can fulfill all our desires. As such, what is the use of elevating yourself by the results of fruitive activities, which are automatically achieved in all events by the modes of material nature? And what is the use for you of spiritual emancipation or liberation from material bondage? If you're always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord and always relishing the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord, then there is no necessity for any of this. So, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Prahlad Maharaj is telling his friends, he's 4, 5-year-old boy, and he's telling his friends that you just please Krishna. Then whatever desire you have, it will be fulfilled. And there's no doubt about this. Bhagavatam is also saying, right, that full of desire, full of desire for liberation, or no desire, just engage in devotional service. Here Prahlad Maharaj is saying. He's saying that we may try to do some punya karma so that we can go to the heavenly planets and enjoy. But just by pleasing Krishna, we can get that. Now, we may desire liberation so that we can feel that happiness of the soul. But just by pleasing Krishna, we can do that. So, rather please Krishna. Then you're experiencing even a higher nectar, relishing the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord, always engaged in chanting the glories of the Lord. By this statement of Prahlad Maharaj, it is clearly understood that one who takes pleasure in chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord has already surpassed all kinds of material benedictions, including the results of pious fruitive activities, sacrifices, and even liberation from material bondage. So the pure devotee, he is experiencing the happiness which is more than the happiness someone feels in the heavenly planets. To somebody who's done a lot of sacrifice, austerities, charity, of course, we can go to the heavenly planets and feel more happiness. Or then someone is situated in the Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. So then, of course, the happiness of the soul is there. But one who's engaged in pure devotional service, who's taking pleasure in chanting, hearing and chanting, is understood that he's experiencing the highest bliss, the highest pleasure. There's no greater pleasure than that, than being situated in this loving relationship with Krishna. We are not able to understand it. We think, no, there is pleasure in the body, then we enjoy the body. But here, all the devotees, all the Shastras are telling us that the greatest pleasure is with Krishna. Is with Krishna. And how we can experience it? Hear and chant. That's the process given to us. Hearing and chanting. Similarly, in the same 7th canto, 8th chapter, verse 42, when the demigods are offering prayers to Lord Nishima, Indra, the king of heaven, says, so this is 7th canto, and the demigods are praying to Lord Nishingadev. This is when, Lord Nishingadev is so angry, and so everyone is trying to pacify him. He has just killed Hiranyakashipu. O Supreme One, these demons talk of our share of participation in the performances of ritualistic sacrifices. But simply by your appearance as Lord Nishingadev, you have saved us from terrible fears. Actually, our shares in the sacrificial performances are due to you only, because you are the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam, I am the enjoyer of all the sacrifice. And here Indra is also saying it, that all the yagyas, any sacrifice anyone performs, the enjoyer is Krishna. And then first Krishna takes, or Lord Vishnu takes his share. And then the demigods are given their shares. Then the demigods come and take their share. So Indra is saying that, oh my Lord, we are still so fearful. You are saving us. Because the demigods were so afraid of Hiranyakashipu. Indra was so afraid. Hiranyakashipu had thrown him out of his own kingdom. So he was really afraid of Hiranyakashipu. And so all the demigods are happy that Lord Nishingadev came and killed. So he's saying that you are giving us our share. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to get our share. But you are giving us. You are the super soul of every living entity, and therefore you are the actual owner of everything. So Krishna again in the same verse, Bhuktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He says, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. Everything belongs to me. Here, Lord Indra is also saying the same thing. The actual owner of everything is you. You are the super soul of every living entity. So he's the Paramatma. Krishna is the Paramatma in our heart. Krishna is in our heart in his feature as Paramatma. And so everything belongs to Krishna. We think that things belongs to us, and that's where the problem comes. We are not able to understand, oh, everything actually belongs to Krishna. We hear about it, we read about it, again we forget. Long were our hearts filled, always filled with fear of this demon Hiranyakashipu. But you are so kind toward us that by killing him, you have removed that fear from within our hearts and have given us the chance to place your lordship within our hearts again. So because their fear was so great, they couldn't think of anything else. When we may be so disturbed in the mind that we are not able to think of anything else. So Indra is saying they were so disturbed. But now that that disturbance is gone, again now they are able to think about the Lord. You have given us the chance to place your Lordship within our hearts again. For persons who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of your Lordship, all the opulences which were taken away from us by the demons are counted as nothing. Devotees do not care even for liberation. What to speak of these material opulences? So Indra is saying, but your pure devotees, they are not concerned with all this opulence. Your pure devotees, they don't even want liberation because the devotee wants liberation and beyond. He wants pure devotional service. He just does not want to be situated on the platform that Aham Brahmasmi. So the devotee is saying, okay, Aham Brahmasmi, but what I have to do? I want to engage in the service of Krishna because that is my real position, the position of the soul. Actually, we are not enjoyers of the fruits of sacrifices. Our only duty is to always be engaged in your service, for you are the enjoyer of everything. So Indra is here very, very clearly. He's saying that Krishna is the owner of everything. Krishna is the enjoyer of the sacrifices, and it's the duty of everyone, of every living entity, to serve Krishna. It's a duty, the dharma. The purport of this statement by Indra is that beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, no living entities are meant for enjoying the material opulences. They are simply meant for offering everything to the Supreme Proprietor, the personality of Godhead. By doing so, they automatically enjoy the benefit. So we are not able to understand. We are thinking anything we see is for me, is for me. We are not able to understand that these things are supposed to be offered to Krishna, and in that way we can enjoy. But we are saying, no, I can enjoy by myself. Let me enjoy this thing by myself. Maybe anything. But we are not able to understand that real enjoyment is in connection with Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. All pleasure comes from Krishna. Like when we are thirsty, we go to the fountain of water, then we'll feel thirst is quenched, isn't it? But like that, if we try to find water in the desert, we'll still feel thirsty. We may find few drops here and there, but that's not enough to quench our thirst. But if we can go to the reservoir of water, drink as much as we want, then, or if we can drink to our heart's content. So similarly, Krishna, the real pleasure, comes from Krishna. The example can be cited again of the different parts of the body collecting foodstuffs and cooking them, so that ultimately a meal may be offered to the stomach. After it has gone to the stomach, all the parts of the body equally enjoy the benefit of the meal. So there's a story in the Upanishads that the body parts, one day they said, oh, we are working hard. The hands, the legs, the eyes. Everyone said, we are working hard for the stomach. Stomach is not doing any work. We are not going to work anymore. Okay, so hunger strike. No food. Why to give food to the stomach? We are just doing the work. What happened? That they were getting weak. Then they realized, oh, that's the system. We have to give the food to the stomach so that we can feel energized. That's the system. That is the duty. So, similarly, everyone's duty is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, and then automatically everyone will become satisfied. We simply have to serve the Lord and we will feel satisfied. Whereas we are always thinking, no, I'm going to satisfy myself. No, I'm going to please myself. We're not able to understand this. That simply by serving the Lord, what pleasure He's feeling, He lets us feel that pleasure. Because it's a reciprocal relationship, it's a loving relationship. It's not a relationship of fear or of manipulation, uh, but based on love. Are there any questions, comments? Is there any other example that comes to mind that Prabhupada says that example many times also? That how simply by pleasing Krishna everyone can be pleased. There's another example he uses.
Water the roots of the tree, roots of the plant, and then all the tree will be satisfied. Like you don't have to separately water the branches or the leaves or other. No, you can just water the roots.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't understand. We are trying to water every leaf, every twig. We're not able to understand, oh, just water the root. And then the tree is going to be so beautiful. And so actually it's our duty. The Shastras, they say it's our duty to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. But we don't want to do that duty. And we pick up so many other duties that we want to do. So all our duties are to be done for the pleasure of Krishna. That's how we need to do our duty, to please Krishna. A similar verse is found in the 8th canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 20. Gajendra says there, my dear Lord, I have no experience of the transcendental bliss derived from your devotional service. So therefore, I have asked from you some favor. But I know that persons who are pure devotees and have, by serving the lotus feet of great souls, become freed from all material desires, are always merged in the ocean of transcendental bliss, and as such are always satisfied simply by glorifying your auspicious characteristics. For them, there is nothing else to aspire to or pray for. So Gajendra, he's in great difficulty. He's great difficulty. He's tired. He's been fighting. He's seeing he's losing. Finally, he remembers. He calls out to Krishna. He remembers the prayers from his previous life. And now he's saying to the Lord that I have not experienced the, the happiness of pure devotional service. That's why I'm asking you for a favor. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask you for a favor. You see, we are pleasure seeking, anandamaya abhyasat. That's the nature of the soul. We want to be happy. We want pleasure. We are seeking pleasure. But we are not able to understand where is this real pleasure. But the pure devotees, they know it. Why? Because they're already experiencing that pleasure. They're already experiencing by hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, and they have no other material desire. Because when you have something higher, why do you want something lower? It's natural. We don't want it. We don't need it because you're already getting so much, such a better thing. This is what Gajendra is saying also, that they are feeling, they are merged in the ocean of transcendental bliss. So the happiness that is there, the pure devotee is experiencing uh, by engaging in pure devotional service, that happiness is compared to an ocean, an unending ocean of transcendental bliss. It's very nectarian, very sweet, very sweet. Unlimitedly, the devotees are diving in this ocean and, you know, relishing, relishing the bliss. For them, there is nothing else to aspire to or pray for. That's it. Because they're experiencing the highest thing. Then why do they want anything else? They have Krishna. They are with Krishna. They are experiencing the bliss of being with Krishna. They're experiencing the highest pleasure. Then what else do they want? There's nothing else to aspire for because they already have Krishna. They are with Krishna by hearing and chanting. So they're feeling the bliss of being with Krishna. Is that okay? So just by hearing the glories of pure devotional service, we get great benefit. We may not be on this platform, but by hearing of the glories of pure devotional service, we get great benefit. Also, a desire to get pure devotional service is pure devotional service. A desire to engage in pure devotional service is pure devotional service. That desire. So we'll stop here for today if there are no other questions or comments. Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.